gentlemen, boys and girls, all you little maniacs across the world, welcome once again to the Robcast. Put your hands together, all you little maniacs. Here's Zombie, and here we go. Alright, little maniacs. Oh my goodness, little maniacs. Did you all know that Prince wrote Manic Monday until they just started releasing some music out of Prince's vault? I did not know that he wrote that, and the Bangles sang it. Wasn't it the Bangles? There's so many girl bands from back then. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, little maniacs, thank you very much, my cheap therapy, for joining us once again today on the Robcast. As you all know, we like to start off your show, because it is your show, by saying thank you to the Army, to the Navy, to the Air Force, and to the Marines for doing what? For doing what you bad motherfuckers do to keep our country free. And we also like to say thank you to the first responders, firefighters, EMTs, and last but definitely not least, back to badge, the boys in blue, police officers, where we, all of us normal, average, everyday Joes, run away from danger. You all are trained to run straight into it, and for that, Robcast will always give you mad respect. So rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. How was your day today? This could possibly be just a vent episode. There's no telling what may come up. But I can tell you that I started off earlier today. I did notice that the Joe Rogan, on the Joe Rogan Experience, that he had Bob Lazar and JRE Corbin. Anyway, the Bob Lazar, Area 51, and UFOs is a documentary that has been out for maybe a couple of months now, but it seemed very interesting to me just watching the beginning of the Joe Rogan Experience on YouTube. Yes, they do the video, and we're all audio. Not that I'm afraid to put my face on there and scare you all. However, audio is a platform that I can always deliver on. And Spreaker Podcast, if you don't have it, download the Spreaker Podcast app, the best podcasting network on planet Earth. The point is that yes, we will do video, we will add a YouTube feed to the Robcast, and we do a few little YouTube tidbits here and there. But in order to bring you what we've got when we've got it, never to make excuses, but to make something happen, always. We are a firm believer in audio. We do believe in audio. We like audio. The point is, all of our audio is always available also on YouTube, Robcast Radio. But kind of, look, man, I don't know if you all believe in... Well, believe it or not, the government, the military, it was our military, had a program that was called MK Ultra. And it was about controlling your mind. It was about mind control. With that being said, whenever, I guess, Bob Lazar, if you don't know who Bob Lazar is, check it out, go to YouTube, and you'll see that he is the very first person that kind of broke where is Area 51. And I think he worked at, at what would be considered Area 51-ish is in 1988 or 89. And there are several things, we can talk about Bob Lazar for just a moment. There are a lot of things that we've often wondered in this world, and one of them is there other intelligent life out there? And that's a rabbit hole that we could go down and do 8 or 10 shows about. We're not going to necessarily do a whole conspiracy show, but Bob Lazar is a very interesting character that, like, he put a jet engine into his Honda. He has his own plant at his house, or did, to make the nitrogen to power his Corvette with. This is before Tesla even thought about it. I mean, it's a mid-90s model Corvette that he has converted into being, I believe, hydrogen-powered? Something. Yeah, I think hydrogen-powered. Anyway, Bob Lazar, a very interesting character. One of the things that he claimed is that he had worked on technology that we had never seen before, what we would refer to as a UFO. And what I thought was very interesting about the Joe Rogan Experience, it's number 13, like 1325 or 13 something. What I thought was interesting about it is that I guess Joe Rogan and Bob Lazar and Jeremy Corbin go out to dinner a couple nights ago, to talk a little bit about being on the Joe Rogan Experience, etc. And then today, whenever I was watching it, when they're talking about it, before, I guess Bob Lazar had mentioned that he had a migraine headache coming on before the show. And then whenever you could tell, the pain in the man's eyes whenever he's trying to recall anything to do with element 151 or 115 or and whenever he's trying to talk about these reactors that were the propulsion system, the power that goes to these UFOs, you could tell that he was in pain. And it just makes me wonder, did they wipe his memory clean? And whenever he tries to recall these memories, it hurts and it gives him migraines. And I think that has something to do with the fact that they did some things to him back in the late 80s that, were not necessarily tested and approved by the FDA, if you know what I'm saying. Whether it was injections or whether it was some sort of if you've seen A Clockwork Orange. Clockwork Orange is, come to think of it, and I haven't watched that movie in a long time, but MK Ultra and mind control, in that instance, if you're familiar with The Clockwork Orange, it's a Stanley Kubrick film from the 1970s. It's about this kind of an outlaw generation of youngsters that are running crazy. Gangsters. But that, looking back on that, they did a form of mind control on their subject that was a bad kid that got, opted to go into this government program in order for him to get his, rape and murder charges wiped clean. Or no, he crippled the man, raped the woman, did several assaults and stuff like that, but in order to get his record wiped clean, and I think it was Malcolm McDowell who played the bad kid, and it was a badass movie. If you haven't seen it, check out A Clockwork Orange, and if you know a little bit about MK Ultra and mind control, that was probably, like the British version of the same thing. And I'm sure that we all work together with other governments and other societies in order to get all of our mind control techniques all on the same page, at least, study what the other countries and other governments were doing and what worked for them, because of course our spies and our soldiers would be put through that also if they got captured. Oh man, but what a crazy world it is to see. I didn't finish watching the Bob Lazar interview. I did see. Did I see the film? Yes, I did see the film, because I think if it's the one that is about Bob Lazar, it's narrated by Mickey Rourke. Yeah, and it's like, there's a UFO, and UFO, Area 51. Yeah, so. Anyway, check it out. Tell me, let us know what you think. Just right off the top of my head, that's about all we've got going on today. It is definitely bad weather had to batten down the hatches, and dead tree in my front yard broke in half and fell on the neighbor's fence. So I'm definitely going to have to borrow a chainsaw, because you know that whenever that happens, my chainsaw's not going to start. It's going to need a tune-up, or it's going to need something. So I will either have to go, oh man, get with my brother and have him bring a chainsaw over. That has anything to do with anything with you all today, but just to let you know what's going on in my world, because you know I'm just a squirrel. And now what I did, I don't remember 100% from the movie. It's been a few months since I've seen it, but this interview looked pretty interesting. Is that Bob Lazar was a friend with John Lear, and Lear, like the Learjet, the reason that John Lear sounds a little bit familiar is that he is, by all rights, a pilot. I think he was part of the CIA for some time. But John Lear is the son of the gentleman that created, or was famous for anyway, the Learjet. So that's John Lear's father. And from older interviews, if you look at the original, reason why did Bob Lazar come out into the public spotlight is because John Lear says that he got helped, or at least inspired, Bob Lazar into getting into the field of working with the government in the aspect of trying to work on UFOs or reverse engineering any technology that they did not know what it was. And the reason that they say that he had to come out is because when he was working in Area 51, that Bob Lazar decided, for whatever reason, that whenever they did tests, it was like on a Wednesday night, and he knew where the tests would be, so he took John Lear and someone else to go see the UFOs flying around over Area 51. And so they did this a couple times, and then they got caught. So it was John Lear, Bob Lazar, someone else, and whenever they got Bob Lazar, they take him back to the base. They probably put a gun to his head, threatened his life, probably went through a pretty intense interrogation about, what do you know, why are you bringing people here, to show them, whenever we're doing our tests. And supposedly after that, he went to the television station host, and I wish I could think of his name, but he's also ended up, from what I understand, being one of John Lear's friends, and also turning out to be a friend to Bob Lazar. So Bob Lazar gets interrogated, gets his life threatened, yada yada yada, and I think that they did it again. But I think that what happened was that he just decided that if I go back, I'm not even going to go back to the base or whatever. But what I do need to do is, he did a television interview talking about the things that he had worked on, where he worked, what it involved, and they did it with him in a shadow so that his identity would not be revealed. Well, lo and behold, when he of course his superiors caught wind of that very quickly, and then the heat was on. So he had to continue to tell his story and let it be known that if anything happens to him, that it was the government that did it. And supposedly there were attempts on Bob Lazar's life. He was shot at going onto the 405 in LA. Somebody shot the back of his Corvette. That could have been a gang member. He could have cut someone off in traffic or whatever. And they said one time he was in the gym working out. Whenever he came out to his car, he had an Uzi that he kept specifically for the reason, thinking that his life could be threatened. And his Uzi was on the seat of his car instead of being in the glove box or under the seat where he normally kept it. So little stuff like that. And there was one other thing that was a big deal, is that he talked about this element 115 or element 151. I think it was element 115. But just shooting from the hip, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's a very interesting story to think that someone was in this black program and they worked on a far advanced technology, form of energy, form of propulsion, a reactor, and the fact that they got out of there and they told their story and that they're still alive. I did find it very interesting. No one can do that great of a job acting that when Bob Lazar was on the Joe Rogan Experience today, I saw it today. It was probably recorded over the weekend. But I really did notice that, it looked to me like the gentleman that did produce the movie, Bob Lazar, Area 51 and UFOs, or whatever it's called. I think that's the name of it. Of course, up until this point, okay, one of the things is that Bob Lazar haven't cashed in as far as trying to make money, trying to do interviews, going to the MUFON annual UFO conferences that they have all across the country. Probably one of them a month or every other month, these big UFO conferences. I don't know what they're calling it now. Advanced Aerial Threat Conferences or something. But he spoke of this element that was the power source to this far advanced technology, whether it be alien technology or be something that maybe another government had that we recovered. But how our nuclear reactor would run on plutonium, I guess. This reactor ran on something called element 115 or element 151. I think it was 115. 151. Fuck, who knows, man? Right off the top of my head, I'm not looking at notes. I'm just shooting from the hip. Trying to get out of the rain for a little while today and let you little maniacs know what's going on. Well, that was 1989 whenever he spoke about this element 115 or 151, whatever the fuck. And lo and behold, years later, like in 2004 or 2005, maybe they announced that, yes, this is a real thing, that it's become a part of the periodic table at that point. So it didn't exist back then. It does exist now, but it did exist back then. Just no one knew about it. So it's very interesting that, you think someone worked for the government on advanced technology, and not to mention the dude is a brain. You know what I'm saying? In his own right, because even my vocabulary states that I'm dumb. Okay, I'm just a trailer park dude, trailer trash, hillbilly. And it used to hurt my feelings, but it doesn't now. It's a right of my life. It's what makes me who I am. It's the fabric that has woven my life together. It gives me very interesting stories, if anything else. But yeah, Bob Lazar, very intelligent right out of the gate. Some people, they're born, they're going to be in the sciences. And some people are born and they're going to be a motorcycle mechanic or a raving alcoholic, okay? And motorcycle mechanicking is always taking care of me. Okay, I'm not complaining about that. I love it. I've chosen to do something that I love to do. And building motorcycles, it will pay the bills. It, at the end of the day, you see something that you've created or that you've taken from the dust or from rust and made into something that might make you $5 or $10. And it's a very, very fulfilling. I used to paint cars, and at the end of the day, when you see a half a dozen cars that you've repainted, all lined up, all detailed out, it's an amazing feeling of accomplishment. But the point that I'm trying to make is that Bob Lazar is a brain, okay, straight up, and a cool person. There aren't very many people that have the cool factor, and they're also smart. But Bob Lazar seemed to be very smart and street smart. And as far as cool factor, like, who else, if you're going to build something that's powered by, basically powered by hydrogen, and the byproduct of it, the exhaust, is water, why not do it in a Corvette? Why not, if you're going to drive a Honda Civic back in the 80s, why not put a jet engine in it? There are not very many people that just put jet engines and shit just for fun in their spare time. So yeah, check out the Bob Lazar story. Check out the JRE with Bob Lazar and Jeremy Corbyn. I think that Corbin or Corbell. I could definitely see Corbell jump in whenever Bob Lazar, it looked like his mind just starts going. It's almost like they have a remote control and they're trying to just hit reset on Bob Lazar's brain whenever he's trying to talk. It's a trip. Anyway, check it out. Let me know what you think. What's going on in y'all's world? Other than chugging on that old company. Gotta clock in and go chug on the company cock. If you feel like that, man, if you're chubbing and chugging on the company cock for fucking 8 to 16 hours a day, then, man, my advice to you would be to perform every task to the best of your ability, right? No matter how small, no matter how big. If that includes your job, you still have to do your job. But that doesn't mean that you can't seek advancement in some field that you've always dreamed about or something that you love to do. Like Robcast. If you want to start your own podcast or your own Robcast, set aside 2, 3, 4 minutes a day. If you want to learn how to become a musician, and fucking get you a $8 keyboard at a yard sale. And hey, they probably got the book that they threw away on how to learn, on how to play there also. Spend another $2, get the book. Hey, sit down for 5 minutes, man, just to yourself. Once a day, you deserve it. And could that turn into 6 or 7 or 8 minutes, 30 minutes? Could it turn into something that may be your future, something that you love to do, and that you've known inside that you've always had this special talent that no one else can fuck with? Then set aside 5 minutes a day, ladies and gentlemen, to develop that talent for you, and come on over to the creative realm of life, and say fuck that competitive world where you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. Make that extra 30 hours of overtime, when it doesn't matter how much overtime you get whenever you're doing something that you love to do, as long as it's paying the bills, man. And you never know, it may turn into be something very profitable. The thing is, if you're not doing something that you believe in and something that you love to do, then someone else's will is being imposed upon you. And your free will is something that every single person has that can't be fucked with. That's one thing that you've got that can't be fucked with or altered. And when it is, that's what fucks your spider senses all up. It's like becoming an alcoholic or smoking crack. It fucks those spider senses up. So you got to keep it real, man. Do something that you love to do. Every single one of you have a special talent, and you know that that's something that no one else can fuck with. So use it before you lose it. You hear me I'm saying? Now, ways to follow the show. Robcast Radio on Twitter, Robcast Radio on Instagram, Robert Cole, Zombie in Parentheses on Facebook, Robcast Radio on YouTube. You can also check out the Rob C. Zombie channel for any older episodes of the Rob C. Zombie Show. Spreaker Podcast, the best podcasting network on planet Earth. Robert Cole, Zombie in Parentheses, Spreaker Podcast. And if you'd like to start your own podcast, your own Robcast, check out the Spreaker Studio. Oh, goodness gracious, ladies and gentlemen. I know that there's something that I'm not including. There's some new platforms that we will put the show on. And we will, we'll let you know how they go. Like iHeartRadio. We've been on iHeartRadio and we get bumped off and back on. I think it has to do with how many... It's a long story. Anyway, we'll get back on iHeartRadio if this program's not going on there now. Also Spotify and some others I'm not sure of. Right? There you go. I'll let you know the ones that I know. And other than that, just follow the show. We can have 1 million followers, and what the fuck good are they if they're fair weather friends? I'd rather have my, 2 to 50 solid followers, right? They got your back. Know that I got their back. My little maniacs. You can't fuck with them, man. I'd rather have 2 of my solid 100%ers than 1 million motherfucking fly-by-night fair weather motherfuckers. Right? It's a fake world, man. This is all a motherfucking matrix that we're plugged into. It doesn't have to be. But that's the way I see a lot of people. I mean, everyone, we got to wake up. You gotta, pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to your surroundings. Develop that inner skill that you know that you have that no one else does. Just to speak just a little about Big Brother. Big Brother 21 on CBS is coming out tomorrow. Tuesday and Wednesday night are the premiere of Big Brother 21. So whether you're a Big Brother fan or not, check out Big Brother. You can get CBS.com, get CBS All Access. It's like hamsters in a cage, fellas. It's the Camp Big Brother. It's a studio, okay, and they make it out to be a big house. 16 people live inside the house, and they vote every week. They get to vote one of the people off until the end of the summer. When the last person standing is going to get $500,000. The second person standing is going to get $50,000, or is it 250 and 50? I think it's $500,000 and $50,000. So check it out, and check out Big Brother 21 on CBS, and definitely check out the Big Brother 21 Robcast. Big Brother 21 Robcast coming at you live, uncut, and unrated from Spreaker Podcast and Robcast Radio. Right here, little maniacs, check out the Big Brother 21 Robcast, where I, Zombie, will be talking cash shit all summer long with the Big Brother 21 house. All right, so check out Big Brother 21. Check out the Big Brother 21 Robcast. And okay, so just to talk a little bit about the Bob Lazar, Joe Rogan experience with Jeremy Corbyn. And hold on a second.